Hi there, beautiful creatures. Welcome back. Today I have a reveal of a deck that got sent to me by somebody who contacted me on YouTube and said that they didn't connect with this deck anymore. Would it be cool, or I don't think they ever connected to the deck, would it be cool if they sent it to me? And I said, yeah, sure, of course. And today it arrived in the mail, which was a really lovely surprise because we were unsure as to whether it would ever get here. And it is the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle by Alana Fairchild, which is really interesting that her decks have been showing up in my life lately, considered that I've totally stopped reading the Goddesses book and I'm really not vibing on her books at the moment. Not guidebooks, not decks, just that particular book and that series. But this looks like an absolutely beautiful deck. I've never worked with Kuan Yin, but I have gotten messages recently from, my divine guidance that I have the spirit of like a sacred rebel or a divine rebel in me, and that one of my purposes in this life, I believe, is to shake things up by being myself authentically, and that just so happens to be radically different from social norms. So this is really awesome because I feel like I will click with a lot of the messages in this deck. I also love Chinese art in general. Their contemporary art has been some of the most outstanding that I've seen, and this is awesome. So it's 44 cards, artwork by Wang Yiguang. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And so it says soul guidance from the wild divine for free spirits, passionate hearts, and dreamers of impossible dreams. So I love that. I've never worked with Kuan Yin specifically as a deity before, but she's always been a deity that has appealed to me in terms of the ideas and archetypes associated with her. And this particularly appeals to me. So it says, within you beats a wild and compassionate heart, alive with fierce optimism. You have the courage to walk a path of transformation. You will not be tamed by convention. You are not afraid to be different, to take risks for what you love, and most of all, to keep hope in your heart. You are one of the wild ones. This deck is for you. This oracle will be your light in those moments when the darkness seems too much, when the loving peace of spirit seems too far away from the troubles of the physical world. This oracle deck channels the energy of the Divine Mother to bring you comfort. She'll remind you of your fire, your boldness, your unique beauty, your passion, your courage. She'll guide you through even the darkest trials into the blessing of new life. She'll open your heart and mind to untold possibilities and assist you to live your highest destiny with fearlessness and joy, which is amazing. So these cards still have the plastic band around them. So I'm not sure if the person just looked through the deck and then decided it wasn't for them, or if she, I'm gonna say she, never connected with the deck. But that backing, it's a bit glary, sorry. So I'm gonna take this band off. So the backing is just beautiful. It has this gorgeous like silk screen kind of printing, like silk fabric, and red, such a beautiful, beautiful red. The camera, blows it way out, but it is absolutely gorgeous color and one of my favorite colors. So I'm just gonna flip through the cards. The artwork is stunning. I love this artwork a lot, actually. Oh, her joy overcomes gravity. Look at that. That is beautiful. The sense of weightlessness and like alternate reality. Oh. Grandmother of love, granddaughter of life. I love that. I think I'll go through all the cards, but we'll see. I may need to stop it somewhere. So some horizontal cards and some vertical cards, that's fine. Her hand gentles the war. That's beautiful. Be led by the path before you. I get like a very dreamy, very free-spirited, oh, I love that, let your world spin on its axis. Very free-spirited and very, well, yeah, it is a wild energy, and the artwork to this is just mind-blowing. Like the faces, oh, they're just, just look at this. That is a beautiful card. There's such a richness in artwork like this, and I feel it really does justice to the fact that, you know, Kuan Yin is a Chinese deity, and it's not like fetishizing her as a sort of Eastern beauty. You know, some of these decks can tend to kind of do that and stereotype what a certain, you know, like, we know there are some decks that are very true to the way that people look and culturally appropriate, and then there are some decks that play it up a little bit, and although they don't change skin colors, which is what you don't want, they do make them into a sort of idealized stereotype. I don't personally find that problematic, as long as, you know, you can realize that that's what it is, and you acknowledge that, and yeah, as long as they're not changing skin color of goddesses and stuff, like the whole Yamaya situation in the Oracle of Mermaids. But yeah, so this artwork is just beautiful on its own. Like the borderless, why did Blue Angel have to go back to putting borders on things? Like with the Fairy Forest Oracle, they could have just done this. They could have just done borderless and it would have been great. It's beautiful. Like, I feel like these, I'm getting a reaction in my heart to these cards, that they tell a story and that they came at a pretty good time in my life. Pretty synchronistic timing for these. So I'm actually feeling like I was talking that I would be using the Crystal Mandala Oracle for this month, along with the Crystal Affirmation cards. I think I'm going to have to switch it up. I think I'm going to have to use this deck. Oh, this is beautiful. So much detail. They have such a rigorous training in China for artists. It's funny, if you've ever seen images, it almost looks like, so they kind of, or how they used to do it was kind of copy the same painting from one of the old European masters over and over until they got it absolutely perfect. So they have amazing technical skill. They're just trained differently to how we're trained as artists here in the West. But there's also more liberation happening over in the East as well, in terms of art and challenging the norm, which I guess is what this deck is all about. So I'm wearing my fancy new glasses. I haven't worn them in the past couple of videos, but I've been dying to wear them to show them off on camera. Yeah, these cards are just, they're really gorgeous. I never thought that I would purchase this deck for myself, so I'm really glad that I get a chance to try it out like this. I think, oh, I keep saying horrible habit, horrible. And I did it again. Sisters of the Sacral Spiral, look at that. I want to read some of the guidebook for this so I can see if I connect with the messages. So here we go. So for this card, I'm just going to read out what it says in the guidebook. I don't know why I chose it, but there you go. It says, I create by weaving a web of love, drawing threads from the past and looping these with threads of the future, drawing them together back and forth over time until the beautiful present moment is rich, full, and abundant with love interwoven. When that happens, the plan that I have been lovingly preparing for you suddenly appears to come together, all the preparation finally showing itself in effect. This time for acknowledgement and celebration shall soon come to you. My weaving hand is steady, sure, and swift, and the threads of your life are rapidly taking shape to reveal my most beautiful divine plans for you. Then it goes on into a whole bunch of context. Tao Te Ching. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And so there's a good, like, wow, there's massive amounts of info in the guidebook on each card. That is amazing. And there is a healing process. So the healing process is spoken word using the guidebook and visualization, from what I can see, and some movements and actions and stuff, but you know, you can crop that out if you don't feel like it, you know, extending your arm out to one side and proclaiming to the universe, that kind of stuff. But so far I like it. It reminds me of the healing process that she's written for the Crystal Mandala Oracle, which is the type that I prefer because it's the easiest for me. I find a lot of intention for me lies in actually speaking words and spoken word and written word rather than meditating, guided meditation. That just doesn't really work for me that much unless I'm guiding my own meditation. Or actually visualization would be the right way of saying it. I don't really know if I can meditate. But I do visualize a lot and take myself through inner narratives that connect me to divine wisdom. So I much prefer spoken word when working with imagery than I do meditations. But I'll just go through the rest of this beautiful deck. It's funny because my grandmother was really into I Ching or I Ching as well, and so she bought us both sets of I Ching coins, not that we knew how to use them or anything, and she loved red because she subscribed to basically every single superstitious belief there is for luck and money. She believed in it, and she totally like managed to grapple that with her Serbian Orthodox, beliefs as well. So it all tied in together, and she wore a lot of red. And found red to be her lucky color. It's good for money and stuff like that. So it's very funny that this would also make me think of my grandmother. But it's absolutely beautiful imagery. I actually wonder if the artist was a male or female. I have a feeling male. I saw Alana Fairchild talk about this deck actually last year when it just came out in October. I went to the Festival of Dreams, and I didn't get this deck then because it didn't call to me, but the way that she talks about it really spoke to me at the time even. And she did give this deck out for free. She did a giveaway of this deck, so. But I'm really glad that I have this in my hands. I feel like I'll be using this deck and my two Black in the Moon decks, the Antique Anatomy Tarot and the Oracle of Oddities, which is definitely one of my soul decks. Like, I feel a great, I keep saying, stop doing it. I feel a great kinship with those decks. And I feel like this deck will be spiritually important for me, like the Crystal Mandala Oracle has been so far. I feel like this will almost be able to replace it in terms of what I really need to focus on in my spiritual development. And I definitely see these as being multifaceted. Like, even though this is specifically the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle, I see that this is connecting to higher universal energies that aren't necessarily just Kuan Yin as a goddess archetype, if that makes sense. Like, it's connecting to the idea of the divine rebel and someone who doesn't fit into social norms and stuff like that, in the sense that those archetypes exist throughout religions and traditions. So even though it's Kuan Yin, the name, the energy that it brings to me feels like not more I guess more universal. Like, Kuan Yin is there, this is her energy, the wildness is in here. It has a lot of the Eastern energy to it, which is a different way of thinking for me totally. And it has that universal feel that the Crystal Mandala Oracle has. Whereas you can call something by a name, but the energy that it gives has a universal meaning or understanding, if that makes any sense. So I really feel like this, even though it's called the Wild Kuan Yin deck, really works towards all different aspects of that universal energy of, divine rebellion and stuff. So I really look forward to using this deck, and thank you so much, you know who you are, for sending this deck to me on my way. She thought that the cardstock maybe was a bit flimsy for Blue Angel. It feels about the same with the Fairy Forest. And I don't think they've changed the cardstock, but for some reason it is feeling different. So maybe there's just a change in the way that they're manufacturing them or producing them. Either way, I really look forward to using this deck and letting you guys know my thoughts on it, possibly in a review later this month or next month. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!